fucking name. What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to Alan Dresser, session 25. We're nearly halfway through a year's worth of sessions. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Today we have got only 4 people so far, but we know that the other 2 are going to be joining us later. B is running about half an hour late, and Tats is running a little bit late as well, dropping the kiddo off. But for the time being, we've got Mars, Steve, Shen, and Katie. How's everybody doing?
Hello, hello.
Doing good, thank you.
Be back.
Nice, nice, nice.
Still alive.
Still alive.
Same.
Love that. Well, I know that we've had a 2-week break. Last week there was, it was, for one, it was Thanksgiving, but also and I hope that you had a lovely Thanksgiving, by the way, Katie, and Mars, of course. But I also needed a break personally because it's just been a really rough winter period, and I definitely made use of it. I feel much more relaxed today than I've felt in many months up to this point. So I can only say that really helped. Doesn't mean that everything's sorted. Yeah, it doesn't mean that everything's sorted and everything's perfect and wonderful, but it just means that I feel more able to cope with it all now. So let's move into some good stuff with that on our minds. I have just been talking before the session started about a dungeon master who I watch called Robert Hartley, and one of the things that he does whenever he comes back to a big session after a break to encourage people to remember things and make note of things is he offers people hero tokens, which just gives you an automatic success on something. You trade it in. Acts like advantage, I guess, or inspiration, but essentially it just guarantees a success, just not a nat 20. And what he does is he gives them out to anybody who can tell him successfully, accurately, something and the key information of leading up to that session. So I'll throw it out to the floor. Can anybody tell me any really important piece of information that you have learned about up to this point in the last few weeks that really shapes the story so far?
You're being framed.
Being framed for?
All of the murders.
Ah, interesting. Yes, you will definitely get an advantage for that.
Ooh,
And
There you go.
Loki is supposedly not the person trying to bring about Ragnarok.
Also very good.
And
And how did you get that information?
It's the big bad evil bro.
Oh,
Merlin.
yeah.
Merlin gave
Merlin,
us
correct.
information.
Yeah. And Ox, do you remember who Ox is?
Big bad evil bro.
He's a god.
He is. Do you remember the god's name?
Loki's grandpa.
Buri. Buri. Is that correct?
Buri. Buri. Very good. You all get an inspiration token each. Very good. If you have a look on your character sheets, it's a token that we've not used before, but it's on the top right of your sheet. You'll see a little button next to the big number on the top right that tells you what your character level is. So, you have all made your way out of the White Scar. Half of you had split and had gone to hand yourselves in, but unfortunately the other half of you had gone to Merlin. Although, quite fortunately, really, because when you got there, he explained, well, for one, he's not the simulacrum anymore, he's the real Merlin, which meant that part of the reason that you were getting information was lost because the simulacrum had been melted down as he was no longer needed anymore. Basically, the spell just was ended. And Merlin gave you some boons, but he also gave you a little bit of info. Told you that, yes, he does know about Loki, and he has been working in association with him, but this is not Loki that's been doing this. And he has a feeling that there might be somebody coming for him. That's what Ox is after. But he can't be sure because he is the fourth and final piece. But you know, how are you gonna get past that if you're Ox and he's in a magical tower far away? You also saw them with common sign language, using this common sign language, talking about how they essentially are waiting for somebody, and their men will be ready, and when they are, it will all happen. So we don't know what that might be as well. But you have certainly escaped them, and you managed to do so stealthy enough that the people there were not able to spot you leaving, and you have managed to escape relatively unscathed. You've got some of your spell slots down, and you've got some health lost, but apart from that, you're doing pretty okay. Now, you're in this position in the wilderness. You are in the frozen tundra. The night is drawing in quick. You've been spending a bit of time in the White Scar and not gotten very far, besides getting a few little tokens and trinkets for your pile of loot. What is your big plan at the moment? And by the way, welcome in, Tats.
Okay, I guess we. You say it's late, right?
It's getting late. Yeah, you can see the early signs of evening drawing in. Like the sky is going, a purple shade and stuff.
And I assume it's cold, like cold.
Well, yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
winter is
okay.
drawing in, and it's feeling much more frigid these days.
Mm. Okay. Do we have a direction we're heading in? Had we decided that?
Wasn't there another city we had to get to? Oh Lord, volume.
Yeah, I think Ruby was guiding us to. I haven't written that one down. My note taking is lax on that front, but I think we were going to another city. Yeah.
I thought that was the White Scar. That Ruby was
Oh, okay.
heading you over to the
Oh,
White
maybe
Scar,
that was it.
and then you've already been there.
Ah, so we hadn't discussed. We were just concentrating on escaping and giving
Yeah.
them.
Because the
That
White
info
Scar
down,
is where
basically.
it's where you were headed to hand yourselves in, but then when you did hand
Yeah.
yourselves in, it all became apparent that that was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So who else
Okay.
can we talk to deal with this? Or what else do we do? Like, what's the next step?
I'm
And
not
then
sure.
where's your friend? Don't you have a friend that we had to find? There's a bunch of things that we had to do, and then we all got going on this one.
Yes. I had to find my friend. I was told to read the signs. To find her, but I don't know where to begin particularly.
Well, is it a wooden sign?
Um,
Like, do we have to find
I
it?
yes, I would assume that it it's one of those situations that when I come across it, I'll know. But until then, um, I'm not sure. Maybe we should return to my hometown. Although I think we're quite far now. Um, perhaps
Hmm.
perhaps we should make a fire and rest for the evening. Find somewhere safe to rest before we go anywhere.
Definitely as safe as
Hmm.
possibly can.
As traveling through the night might be dangerous.
The rest might do us well if we can set up a warm enough camp.
Okay, then look for firewood.
We're gonna be a bit careful with the fire and put it out straight as soon as we. Oh no, we're gonna do watches. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I
I would
only have
imagine
to
so.
meditate for 4 hours.
Okay.
Okay, then let us find some wood. Do we have anything? Do we have any food?
I think we have cheese, but it might be a little funny now.
Then perhaps we should attempt to. Although I don't think anything will be growing around here, so we may have to hunt if that's okay with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Thought I did have rations.
I think we would probably have a little, but I don't remember topping up on those.
Hmm. Good point.
Okay, let's go see if we can find something to eat, perhaps. I would like to go and probably be really bad at hunting as I'm a city boy, if I may.
I'll help.
I can look for firewood.
Yes, if perhaps if we split up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I got this really
On my way
cool
back,
axe. I could get a lot of firewood.
That would be good.
Is it overkill if I use a new axe?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's your axe. You've got this big fucking amazing axe. You might as well use it.
For wood cutting.
So where are we going with this then? Who's going to roll what?
I can help. I think guessing nature or survival for wood scrounging for good wood. Which would it
Yeah.
be?
I'll give you either of those, whichever one you want to use.
Survival because I've got a plus on that.
Go for it.
Never
Okay.
mind.
With your
Try.
with your incredibly powerful axe, as you swing into this tree, it splinters into 1,000 pieces, and that's when you realise just how powerful the axe is. That
Can I
you
just
just
change to
you
my old
can't
axe
just
with
get a
the stuff?
clean swing on this thing, and it just completely disintegrates.
I might just change to my old axe just for chopping trees.
Probably
That
a
might
good
be
idea.
good.
And what
So-
else are we doing as well? So Victor, you said that you were going to be trying to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be nature or survival or?
Give me a perception check first of all. See
Okay.
how big
Yeah.
of a creature you can find.
And I'd like to help Victor or also go
Yeah.
hunting with Victor.
Okay, so give me that perception check again. See if you get it again. Any better, Victor?
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, I mean we can take the 17.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool with me.
Yeah.
You managed to find a like a small sort of Highland sheep. It's shaggy. It seems like it's mostly wool, but you feel like you might be able to get some meat off it for the night. You do still have the cheese for those of you who might be more inclined towards vegetarianism. But yeah, you are able to find this this animal. I will just need a ranged attack on it. If you've got a bow or a crossbow or anything like that.
I have a hand crossbow. Am I able to sneak up on it? Would I
Give
get
me
sneak
a.
attack?
I think you probably kill it with the single shot anyway, but just give me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely
Okay,
get
cool.
sneak attack because you're getting the help action from Aldrin. Yeah, there you go. So that'll definitely hit. Give me
Low roll though.
yeah. So that was your stealth. That was your stealth roll. Okay. So yeah, you get a 16. That's enough to hide well enough. But yeah, give me your attack roll with the bow. The crossbow.
Where is my
Whatever you're
hand
using.
crossbow? There it is.
11 still hits a sheep, and with no need at all. Yeah, this thing's like, and it just drops to the floor dead. You manage to get some decent mutton off it. You skillfully manage to carve away its fur. It's like pelt, this woolen pelt. If you want to put that in your inventory, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
could just use it as a skin to lie on for the night, so that you're not on the
Right.
snowy ground.
I would like to try to start a fire.
Yeah,
keep it as a
so
blankie.
if you
Yeah,
want
Aldrin can
to,
have the wool.
no problem. Go and if you Ash want to help Isabel with a second roll, um, lovely. Now, Isabel, if you give me that roll one more time, see with your other axe. There we go. We're able to get a 19 on that one. You managed to
I
get
may not
some
be able to.
decent
Right.
dry wood. That's the point here, is that it's very wet around you, and any one of these trees could potentially work well as firewood, but they're all pretty damp from the amount of snow around, and it's very cold to start a fire. But with the 19 and the 18 there, you're able to not only get some decent dry firewood, but Ash is able to, kindle it into a real fire using, druidcraft and knowledge of the surroundings. And yeah, you end up making this fairly decent camp. You've got fire, you've got lovely hides to lie down on, you've got a bunch of different things. Briar, was there anything that you wanted to do in particular?
Is going to help with the fire, but I think we've got that under control.
Yeah, I think well then you can help to secure the fire, keep, while the rest are finding the wood for the fire, you could be finding some decent stones so that it stops the fire from spreading to everything on your persons or around your persons.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, so you end up making this lovely cozy fire scene. Um, and as the night draws in, are there anything in particular that you guys are focused on?
Um, I don't think so. Today, I think just trying to kind of decompress would be more accurate. Maybe trying to figure out what the sign would be that I'm looking for, actually. Kind of trying to rack my brain to see what that would be, as that'd be the next kind of clue to start things off.
Aldrin remembers they need to find running water and get rid of these ashes. And is pondering the scene that they saw in that other place.
Can you be more specific? The scene they saw in that other place doesn't really help
Yeah,
me.
yeah, the underworld cavernous area where people's was
Yes.
biting.
Yes. The underworld. Okay. Right, so, as you all lay your heads down to rest, um, let me know who is going on first watch.
I'll go
I will
first.
take.
Aldrin
we've
EP's
got-
first.
Aldrin, EP first, and who is going to be first watch?
I'll watch.
You watch?
I'll watch
Oh.
as well if you like.
Okay, you guys go. I'll rest for now, and then I'll take the next one.
Okay. So that's Victor and Aldrin, and then Briar, what would you be doing?
I can either take first or second.
Well, those are the two options, so you can pick one.
We'll take second. We'll take second together.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
There you
Yeah.
go. So we'll put Ruby in with the first watch then, while we're still waiting for B to head back. Should be here in the next 5-10 minutes, hopefully. Okay, so usually when we come to this point, we focus very much on the dreams. It's been a very dream and sleep-focused campaign so far. But for now, I actually want Ash and Isabel to roll me a perception check, and I'm going to roll one for Ruby. We've got a 14. Ruby rolls a 14 as well. Ash rolls an 18. Okay. Ash, you don't see anything, but you do hear the crunch of snow coming from the northeast.
I'm going to be alert and focus all my attention to the northeast then. I'm going to motion to my friends and kind of point in the area that I heard it without saying anything. I don't want to give away our position.
Yeah. So you have dark vision up to 300, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't quite know why that's not actually active for you as a character. Why is that not doing that? Dark vision. Does that fix that? No, it hasn't. Okay. Well, you as you keep your eyes peeled and you keep watching that area and you're nudging the others and pointing in that direction, I want you to give me one more perception check as the sound of crunching of snow underfoot gets within about 40, 50 feet. 27. That's a very good roll.
That was a
That's a nat
crit.
20. That's a crit, yeah.
27, the nat 20 on that, you see nobody coming.
I kind of sigh, like relief. And I just,
Oh.
Hey,
I
guys.
just call out, "Hey, nobody."
Hi. Real good to see you again.
Are we whispering?
But I imagine y'all are sleeping. I don't really want to wake your friends.
Yeah, some of us are.
Right. Well, I've got news. I don't know if you want to talk about it now or if you want to wait for them all to wake up.
I think they'd want to hear it too.
I don't particularly want to disrupt their sleep. So I could sleep now if you like, and then I can take my rest for the evening. I've been walking for a whole long time. It would be
Yeah,
nice.
lay down.
I see no problem with that.
Lay
And
down
then,
and
then
take
when
a
I
nap.
wake up, then y'all can talk with me after, yeah?
Yeah, get some rest.
Okay. I'll get close into the fire here if you don't mind.
Not at all.
And she gets out her little rough-hewn woolen blanket and wraps it up around herself, and mats down some of the wetter grass, and you see like a radiance appearing on her hands, and she uses some of her clerical magic to use the radiance of, this religious magic kind of thing, this magic of worship to dry out some of this grass just a little bit, if nothing else, so that she can lay down on it without getting wet. And she lays down in the snow, tucked up next to Briar's shield. And yeah, you sleep the night through. Aldrin and Briar and Victor, please take your long rests now. You will have that ready. Um, by the way, Ash, Tats, we mentioned just before you popped in, I think, I don't know whether you caught it, that I'm giving a little what Robert Hartley, a DM, calls a hero token for giving an accurate recount of what has happened up to this point. We've covered
Oh.
almost all of it. So because the others were so accurate, and because you came in after, like while I was already dictating what was going on, I didn't feel like it was fair to ask you, nor is it fair to deny you one. So I've given you your hero token. You'll see it on your character sheet, top right, just next to the big number of your character level. And I've given Ruby one as well for when B arrives. So essentially, if you want an automatic success on something that you would fail, you just give me that hero token back, and you'll get an automatic success. And
So an inspiration point.
it's like inspiration. Inspiration gives you advantage. This would be if you roll and fail, then you can just automatically succeed by giving me the token back. So it will mean that you succeed on the DC. It won't mean that you get the equivalent of a nat 20. It's just like, oh, I rolled a nat 1. Can I give you this instead? Yes, you can. And that will be it. And
That's
then
awesome.
you get your
Thank
token
you.
back. Right, so we get through the night. Aldrin is focused on this underworld. Victor is thinking about the signs to look for. And Briar, what is it that you're thinking about?
I think I'm just kind of focused on who could possibly be trying to frame us. And I mean, we kind of know, but like why they would want to. when
Yeah.
we've been just trying to help everybody that we come across, and
I will say
what
that.
their kind of end game goal is with that.
So, sort of partway through your sleep, I will say that you'll feel some kind of radiant warmth coming from somewhere. You don't know where. The rest who are awake would know that that was from nobody who was putting down this heat, this radiant magic, just to warm the grass. But that will give you advantage on a religion check if you would like to give me one now.
Yeah. Advantage. Okay. Oh, still 11 with advantage.
Still 11. Your connection to your deity is running wire
Yeah.
thin, unfortunately.
Yeah, it has been.
Would you like to give me your hero token back?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So click off that little icon on the top right, and you'll be able to give me that back. And you
Okay.
will now automatically succeed, and your connection, you feel like it's getting thin. You have this thought, this feeling of worship and of supplication to your goddess, and you reach out through your heart and soul, and you feel that you're struggling to make that same connection as you've done before. But in this moment of desperation and need and unknowing, you just push that little bit further through and just be like, no, I refuse to fail. And you push through to your goddess of nature, of the wilds, and of night. And you get some semblance of inspiration. You see this dream start to unfold before you, this magic world, and it's something that you've seen before. You've had dreams. You know what they look like to you. They're like they're like chalk lines on a twilight sky. It's like someone's drawing out a constellation for you in the stars. And as these things unfurl for you as a cleric of, twilight, you feel that your imagination runs wild and you start thinking of all of these crazy things, and then you just get that nudge just onto the right one of those thoughts, and it pushes you towards Ox. And this person, that this being that you worship, is a relative of Ox, so who better to ask about his true nature? And you start getting these like images in your mind of like upbringing and childhood and this new world and these new people and these new creatures and finding a place here and finding a home here and all of that kind of thing. But it's definitely not from your perspective. It's definitely from hers. And she gives you insights into who he is as a person, and he's very private, he's very closeted. He keeps his thoughts and his feelings and his motives to himself. He keeps himself to himself. He doesn't stay in the nation of these, Norse gods. He instead stays on his own little farm homestead and doesn't really speak to any of them. But where she was always mixed up, she thought that he was being quieted, that he was being kept there by the successes of other family members like Odin and like Thor and Loki. When in actual fact, she's starting to give you this insight now to her mind, her thought processes, her heart, her soul, that perhaps he was doing it because it was on purpose and he was resentful of the other gods. Maybe that's why he's targeting Loki now. But on the flip side of that, you see that there might be more to this than meets the eye. That maybe there might be more to what Merlin was saying than you are first aware, and that perhaps the others might have better insight into this should you share this information with them. But that push through, that use of your hero token has really helped, because you now get this idea of Ox comes across as being this lovely, friendly grandpa type, when in actual fact he is just holding that up as a mask to his seething resentment that he's been holding on to for thousands of years against the rest of his family. So that's very good. Aldrin.
I
No, get going.
I will definitely share that when
stuff.
I wake up.
We love to hear it. Welcome in, B. Good to see you here. How's your neck, by the way? Without sharing too much.
Neck is fine, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Aldrin, you are you're in your trance. You are focusing on the underworld and what you might be able to find there. And you get the same avatar of death appear to you as before. Olakoi on horseback appears and sees you and says, "What would you have me tell you this time?"
Oh, hello again. Didn't really quite expect to see you again.
I'm always
just-
near you, Aldrin. Waiting.
Oh, good to know. Oh, I have a question. Do you know the Valkyries?
Yes.
They were nice.
Depends what you mean by nice.
Well, they let us live.
They don't have choice over whether you live or die. Neither do
Yeah, they just collect you. If
I.
you done things right.
There is a natural order to things. Those who go against it are abhorrent to the laws of nature and of the world.
Do you know Buri?
I am aware, yes. He
You
too
know,
is
he's-
mortal. He will die one day. And either I or the Valkyries will collect him.
Oh, interesting.
All gods are mortal.
Do you know about Ragnarok?
Very few do.
Hmm.
I wonder if perhaps I might intercede on your questioning and show you something you may be interested in.
Sure.
He reaches out a very withered, bony hand. Do you take it?
Alden will reach out and take his hand.
As your hand reaches up to this horse-mounted, withered old man, his hand comes in to reach yours, as if he looks like he's about to fall off his horse. He's reaching down that far. And as he grabs you, he doesn't grab you by the hand, he grabs you clasped around the wrist. And as he falls from the horse, you feel yourself fall down through the earth too. And the two of you are stood once again on the ceiling, upside down, sort of facing up towards the floor of the underworld you were in before. Again, you feel this sense, this presence of the nameless one, the stranger, the spider in the cracks of the walls. You see this webbing underneath. You see this being walking around, talking to some of the people who are in these webbings. But this looks different than it was before. This looks like there's fewer people down there now. You might even surmise that this is the past. This is something before. Because why would any of those souls have disappeared from now? They would still be there, surely. Where else are they going to go? I mean, they're dead. They're caught in a web. And as you watch this, you see a new soul appear. You see this Aarakocra. An Aarakocra screaming in passion, screaming in anger, in fury, in anguish, upset, depressed, terrified, pouring with tears, sweating like an Aarakocra never could. Just a mess of everything. Just completely wrecked and ruined. Like slashes and wounds and gaping holes that no longer matter because he's now dead. You see his plumage has been torn as if he's been tortured. You see that he's been singed and burned on some parts of his body. That his armor, that he was clearly once resplendent and silvered, is looking tarnished, is looking bloodied. And is it his blood? Is it somebody else's? It's hard to tell. But you see him appear in this webbing, and you see him like wrapped up by it, and he struggles against it, and the more he struggles, the more it struggles against him. And yes, you do see this figure start to walk towards him, but then that figure gets stopped. Their foot goes to touch the floor, and they notice a black smoke around. Oh. Okay. And he nods in reverence, takes his foot back, turns on the spot, and walks calmly away to the next. But this black smoke appears around this Aarakocra and musters up and forms this tumultuous, shapeless form in front of him. Eyes everywhere. Tendrils coming out of all places on this smoke, touching it, touching this Aarakocra, touching the floor, touching the cracks in the walls, like it's part of it. And you hear a voice coming from this tumultuous smoke. I would very much like to be your friend. Can I help you in this time of need? And this red cardinal looks up from his anguish with cracked beak and cracked armor. They had my family. My children. They tortured me. I just need to know if they're okay. I'm very sorry. I'm not sure I can help with that. I'm not all-knowing. But I do have some help that I might be able to help you with. I could give you life again. It might not be the same that you're used to. You won't feel warm or seek food or shelter or water. But it would be the same thing. What do you mean? Well, I just happen to be the god of this place, if you want to give it its most simple human term. I would never call myself such a thing, but if it helps move on this negotiation, then I would very much like you to understand the power that I seem to have here. Now, how is this for an offer? I will deny you your place here. What do you mean? I will deny you your place here. You will not be allowed to die. That's the same as any life I've ever heard of. There must be a catch. No? What? Why would you do this for me? His tears are drying on his beak at this point. His cracks and his wounds are festering and moulding. I was a holy man. I cared for my family. They did this to me just out of spite, hatred. I don't know why. I would seek their death. Surely that would earn me a place back here in hell. Oh, dear. This is not hell. Such puerile ideas are just put there to scare your people into doing the good thing. But good is a matter of perspective, and I would find it very good to send you back into a world where you can punish those who do this evil to others. A catch, I suppose. You may only earn your life back if you kill enough each day. And if, when midnight comes, you've not succeeded, then you'll go back to the state you were in at the start. But I will keep a piece of you here. That's for sure. That's how I will keep control and make sure that your power continues, but you will be here in my web, and I will be there to protect you in the only way that I can, to deny you your place. I will do this. They will suffer. Oh, one more thing. Just so that you're not going around telling people about how merciful I might be, I'll be taking something from you as well. What would you And then you see his strangled chokes become silence, as he is no longer able to form words.
Oh.
You see Death stood next to you now. You're back in the frozen tundra, and he is back on the horse as he lets go of your wrist. You're back in the dream that you were just in.
See, I knew we shouldn't have bothered him.
I think that he has some mission of his own.
He's just trying to find his family.
I saw what you did to him. I see every time he dies. Every night.
I didn't do it. I told them not to.
I would suggest you either make amends or stay out of his way.
How's about both?
And with that, your trance ends. We'll move on to Victor, though, before you wake up and see everybody else. Victor, you're focused on the signs. What should you be looking for? What did Aurelie mean in the dream? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
You find yourself in your childhood body again. You're back at the orphanage. You're back at the place that you were raised. You are in your childhood night clothes, and so is Aurelie. And she's grabbed you in the bushes and pointed towards this house. And you remember this moment, this arbiter of your future, this turning point where essentially Aurelie encouraged you and a number of the other people at the orphanage to become rogues, to start thinking about how to sneak about. And you sort of self-taught yourself, if you like, mechanically, the first couple of levels of rogue class. That you are learning how to stealth and learning how to avoid the creaks on the steps in an old orphanage like that, trying to stop the guards, or your nanny, or whatever word you want to use for it, your caretakers, from noticing that you're getting up in the night and sneaking out and doing things like stealing food from the kitchen, maybe, or going out and doing tasks or little childhood missions, whatever it is that you do. You've got to be careful which floorboards you step on. You've got to know ahead of time what they look like. You've got to know what a door creaking will do at different speeds, and what registers those are, and the differences between each of the people you know of, and how they might react to those sounds. And in doing all of that, you manage to make yourself this innately stealthy person. And all of that comes flooding back to you, adult Victor, but to this childhood Victor, they still haven't learned all of this yet. They're still fumbling through the cracks of this new world, this new exciting thing. And as you're stood there in front of this gingerbread house, and you are being told by Aurelie the fact that there's a witch in there and that you should come back later and you should do something about them, you see Aurelie stood in front of you now, arms folded, head tilted, looking at you. What is it?
Nothing. I was just staring. Are you okay?
I'm okay. Don't you want to do this?
Run me through the plan again.
Well, we need to get the others. We need to gather them up. We need to figure out how we're going to take out a witch. Witches are not easy to kill, after all.
Yes. Then let's go and get our friends.
Why are you going back that direction? They're through here. And she points back
Oh.
towards the hut. And you see this gingerbread house is no longer a gingerbread house. It's an old wooden shack. There's a frozen pond next to it. There's trees around it that you don't recognize. And the whole world around you has changed into a completely different location.
Oh, my mistake. After you.
She walks on ahead of you out of the tree line. And she points out towards the frozen pond. Her arm looks a little bit darker than it was before. As you see her point, you follow the line of her pointing and you see the crooked finger at the end of her arm. It looks like it's stripped of skin and she's pointing out with a bony finger. And when you look back at her, it definitely looks like she's paler than she was before. But as she points, she says, "There's people over there. I don't recognize them." Do you want to sneak up and ask what? Do you want to sneak up and listen to what they're doing?
Yes. Yes, let's do that.
She will give you advantage on a stealth roll, if you'd like to give me a stealth roll.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because I wouldn't have a cloak just yet. That would make sense.
25. That's good. Okay. So with a 25, you manage to get around this old wooden shack. You see that the boards are breaking down and the glass is broken, and there's like some footprints around here, but not many, but they all seem to be quite uniform. And when you get to the corner, you see just around the corner that there's guards here, and they're all wearing their standard uniform issue. So each of their boot prints would be the same. That's what makes sense. It would look like there's someone pacing backwards and forwards endlessly. In actual fact, the 7 guards. But in the middle of the 7 guards, you see that they've created this sort of perimeter around the frozen lake. Well, pond, really. And there's 3 figures stood on it. Ox, Julius, and Orana. And you can see that they're each using sign language and talking to each other with this sign language. What do you want to do at this point?
Do I understand signing?
Do you have common sign language?
I don't believe so now.
Okay. I'll give you a luck roll of whether Areli does. Give me odds or evens.
Odds.
Odds. So if this is an odd number, then Areli does know common sign language. She does not. That's unfortunate. You see that Ox gestures towards his top pocket, and Julius seems to be like confused, puzzled on his face. Orana less puzzled, but Julius hasn't really noticed. He's just focused on Ox at this point. And Ox pulls out a 4-pointed star brooch and holds it in his hand and says something else in sign language. Pops it back into his pocket again.
Can I try and like memorize some of the, like, as many of the hand gestures? I don't know what the correct term would be for it, but
Yeah.
as many of the signs as I can. I'm just gonna
Sure.
try and kind of commit them to memory, like the ones that I see as maybe the most important, or whichever ones I will try and remember at a later date. Because I'm assuming I don't have my notebook with me, and that as I'm in a dream, it won't matter if I do have my notebook.
Right. So give me a raw intelligence roll.
Cool. How do I do that?
Just click intelligence, and at the top, and it should give you the choice. A 9.
Yeah. Yes.
With a 9, you're able to remember the letters. So in sign language, as in a lot of sign language forms, there are specific hand gestures for like whole hand gestures or arm gestures for words that are already pre-made, but they often have letter forms where you just move your fingers in a specific way, and I think that with a 9 you would remember the fingers, not the rest of it. So you don't really know what context much of this is set in, but you do recognize the fingers that they point out when they're spelling out a word. So you're able to remember that bit, and I'll tell you what that means later, if you figure out someone who knows Common Sign Language. So you watch all of this happen, and then you give me a perception check. And again, Aurelie will give you a advantage on this.
Is she deteriorating any?
Now that you mention it, she is. Her skin has faded from her face, and she's now skeletal.
Okay. But she seems like she's still able to move and like she's not in like any.
She doesn't look
physical
like she's in
or anything
pain,
like
no,
that.
no.
Okay.
With a 19, you notice that all of the guards surrounding these people are reaching for hidden blades.
Oh, have they seen me?
No.
Hidden blades. Okay. Are they? I mean, they have their backs to the people in the pond, right?
No.
They're facing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They slowly start to walk in.
I run, like I start to like wade out and shout at the top of my voice, like, "You're in danger! You're in danger! Turn around!" to the people in the center.
As they turn around towards you to see you, one of the guards slips a knife between Julius's ribs from behind. Another joins in. He stares at you with an open, agape face as all 7 of these guards pounce on Julius and completely rend him apart, slicing at his throat, his thighs, his inner arms, just gutting him on the spot. And the look of betrayal, the look of just sheer fear in his eyes as he falls and collapses onto the frozen ice. And Orana and Ox step away together. This will work very well, Orana. This will work very well indeed. With that, you see that the rest are not taking in your presence at all. They're not noticing you whatsoever. They're looking around at each other, and they're dealing with what just happened. Orana and Ox head inside of the wooden shack and continue discussing in sign language. You're no longer able to see their hands, though. As you look around now at Aurelie, you notice that she is starting to decay even further. But really just the skin. The bones still look clean.
I'm gonna head back towards her, and like try to like touch her cheek, maybe. See how how it feels, if that makes sense.
Feels very cold and bony.
Are you okay?
Well, I'm dead, silly.
What is? Are you dead now? Outside of this place?
She tilts her head and leans it in towards your hand in a sort of endearing way. What do you think, Victor?
I would like to believe that you're not. But it appears that a lot of the things that I know are wrong lately.
All of these things will happen. Unless you do something. Look
Where
for
do
the
I
signs.
start?
Look
Where
for
is the first one?
signs. And with that, you wake up.
I like snap up and I frustratedly like punch the floor.
With that, nobody wakes up on the spot next to you. Oh! Whew! Oh, Victor, you gave me a startle there. Sorry,
Sorry.
I'm really not ready to be punched awake.
I wasn't aiming for you.
Oh, I
I
know,
have
sweetie.
strange
Don't you
dreams.
worry. Don't you worry. Ash, Ruby, and Isabel, you notice that Aldrin, Briar, Victor, and Nobody are all awake on the ground behind you now.
Hmm.
Did you have sweet dreams?
Not particularly. Very, very vague. Feel important, but very vague.
I wouldn't say sweet. More informational, though. You know the Holy Man? He's just looking for his family. He kind of made a deal with our friend there at some point, and
Our friend.
yeah,
Your friend,
some folks' friend, I guess, or
not
somebody's friend.
not my friend.
Fair, all right. Well, the underworld. Here's kind of a spooky place.
I would gather
Um,
that.
yeah. Um, but I think we ought to keep moving, and we ought to make amends with the Holy Man. You know,
Yes,
for
I think.
killing him, and because he's just looking for his kids. Like he took a whole second deal of life thing just so he could try and find his kids.
Is there a way we can find them, maybe? And then
I don't know. It's been a long ass time.
maybe just information would do the trick and prove.
Yeah.
How would we find him?
Good question.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what would make amends, and I'm not sure how to find him. But I'm pretty sure he's still probably following us. All things considered,
So if we
and
find
knowing
somewhere
our luck,
safe to wait,
maybe someplace warmer would be nice. But
yes.
I think we got a lot of situations on our hands. And then that
Yes.
bird guy, he's mortal. His soul will get collected too. He might be a god, but he's mortal.
Um, it's nice to chat, but I think some of us need to get our breasts up.
Yeah.
I'm not bored of just saying if we want to get going, we better get our rests in as well.
Briar,
rest.
Briar and Victor, do you share what you learned as well?
Yes.
How would you put that
Yeah,
into
right.
words?
I would share man, my memory, I can't even remember.
That Ox is very aloof, solitary, stays away from the others. And to begin with, they thought that he might be, Ear thought that he might be doing it because he was shunned by them and felt pity, but it turned out that maybe he just resents all of them.
Yeah, and I would share, I do remember the bit about Ox being related to Ear, and
Yeah,
I
well,
found that
the Norse
pretty
pantheon,
interesting.
yeah, well, it's all based on the Norse pantheon as an above the table thing. The Norse gods are all basically related or married to each other. They're all basically just family. But yeah, that's
So like the Greeks.
yeah, it's all a very similar sort of thing when it comes to polytheism. They're all basically just family members. But yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of what you've learned. And Victor, do you want to share with what you've learned?
So I kind of got an inkling that what I was seeing was to be the future rather than it was past, right?
I will let you interpret it however you wish.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm not going to give you that for free.
No. Okay. Trying to think how much realistically.
Well, you do remember
Vic
sign
would know about
language
the gods
letters.
and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember the sign language letters.
Mm,
You just got to find somebody who can speak common sign language.
Oh,
yes. Does
I
anybody
can
speak?
understand it when I use languages.
Yeah, comprehend languages.
I don't know if it's worth it, but I caught a few. My dream was very vague, I think. Um, Although we all seem to be getting clues in our sleep at the moment, so you're welcome if you want to use some of your strength to decipher it. But all I caught was this, and I'm gonna do a few the symbols that I remember with my hand, with my fingers. So it's up to you.
Let's find out.
Okay.
So
Do we know the
Victor,
alphabet?
Victor does these letters, and you can recognize that in common sign language they spell out Jack.
Yeah. Jack. Jack. Jack was nimble. Jack was quick.
Yes.
Isabel, that rings true to you. You've heard that tale before.
Uh-huh.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick.
It's Jack.
Mhm.
That's
Where is Jack?
Is that the same Jack as Jack and Jill went up the hill?
it could be, I guess.
And
I
what about little
believe
Jack Horner?
I believe we
Is
were
it?
told that
Yeah, go
the
on.
same Jack.
I thought so. I was just confirming.
Yeah, all of those
Yes, I think
Jacks are all the
somebody
same
told us
thing.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, somebody told us that. I can't remember who, but somebody told us that.
I think I remember telling you that just as a general thing, as friend to friend.
Okay.
I'm not sure I told you
Okay.
in the sessions,
I
but
wasn't
yes,
in game,
yes,
right?
it is
Okay.
true. Yeah, yes, it is true. Good remembering.
I have a sneaking suspicion that it's the same Jack.
A little bird.
Yes. Just out of interest for anybody who likes to know these things, in English literature, the common fairy tales that all say about Jack, like Jack and Jill, Little Jack Horner, Jack and the Beanstalk, etc., that those are all the same Jack. They all sort of literature historians in general do agree that they are told about the same Jack. So it's a very storied life of a single Jack, who had many experiences.
Who's the
But
Jack of
yes,
all
they're talking
trades?
about Jack. Hey, there you go. Boom, boom. So yes, you do get that impression that this might be that. Do you tell anybody about the frozen pond and the shack and all of that occurring?
Yes. Yeah. I'd quickly kind of yes, I would tell
Oh,
them that.
that's real interesting. I did come back with some info. I went away to find out why you were seeing all these creepy people like Valkyries, and Olakoi and all those. And on my
I
way
think it's
back,
the Holy
I
Man.
found some interesting things. One, winter is going real far north, y'all. It it's snow everywhere.
Winter's going.
It's spreading. It's spreading further north than it normally does. But
Oh,
also, I went past an old shack trying to find some shelter from the storms up there, all the snow drifts, and I remember a place just like that where guards were gathering, and I wanted to let y'all know the the other thing that I went off to try and find while y'all seen all this. Usually, you gotta be a god, but I did read in some of the religious books I read, some of those books of worship that you can find in some of the smaller uh, chapels around this place, that those who are touched by death or close to death tend to see him. Now, I know that that might be interpreted as someone who's about to die, but I think in this case, it literally is true. Because from what y'all have been telling me, it seems like this stranger friend of yours, the one who I absolutely adore, if they are who I think they are, then
And who do you think they are?
nothing. They're nothing. I love nothing. Y'all know this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Nothing
I'm
true to
pretty
them.
sure that if they're getting close to you, then that means that you are close to them in like an interpersonal way.
Oh,
They're reaching out to y'all. You're going to be predicated towards seeing those kind of folk around.
that would make sense.
Anyway, that that whole thing you just said, Victor, about the the things that might happen on that pond, I think it might be happening soon. And Jack,
Oh.
well, there's more than one person that collects the dead. Jack is a, you know, storied character in our times and our tales, going back centuries. But one of the biggest things that he said, well, he had a monkey paw. It was like a cursed item. I think Rumpelstiltskin might have given it to him, but those were just rumors. Probably. I don't know. Not really. Anyway, this item, it would grant wishes, but there was always a sting in the tail, like a scorpion. You know what a scorpion is. Anyway, I'm going on. So the thought is, he asked to have an interest in life, and he ended up having a cursed one. It was interesting, just not the kind of interesting he wanted. It was interesting to everybody else. So he got cursed by it to have this awful life with all these things. So he decided that he would wish to live forever. And well, it just sort of meant that he was denied entry to the afterlife.
Hmm.
Well, I guess that means he's immortal, but I don't know whether that just means he can't be killed by mortals. I'm not sure. It might be that he's not able to be killed by a mortal person or being, which would make sense because, well, let's face it, we're all mortal. We're all going to the big nothing after this. But if it's the other thing as well, then he can't ever die. Last I heard, he lost his head, and well, he didn't die from it. He just picked up a pumpkin and made it his new one. Closest thing. I guess a pumpkin's better than an apple. I wouldn't want to be going around with an apple for a head. That'd look silly. But yeah, if that's the Jack you're talking about, then I don't know what they're thinking about with him. But that 4-point star, I mean, those people who got given the right to protect Ragnarok, they must have been granted it by someone. And if Ox is Buri, I don't think of any god higher than him, since he made all the others. He's their grandpappy. So,
Right.
I think what I'm trying to say is, y'all are fucked, and I'm here to help if you want me.
I think it's trouble that
Welcome in,
that
Bane.
you had the pin, the 4-star pin.
I mean,
Yes, they shouldn't
he's
have them, right?
he's got to be making them somewhere. Someone's got to be making those things.
Hmm.
Mm.
They have a big relationship with the dwarves, and the dwarves are real good at making things.
Yes, I've heard. What does... Do we go and try to stop them?
Well, what happens if we don't?
Then,
Ragnarok.
yes. Ragnarok. And I don't think any of us are ready for that.
I mean, honestly, I'll help y'all, but I can't imagine a better way to go. That would be so cool to die in an apocalypse, but
The,
I'll do what
the,
you want me to do. I just think it would be sick.
I mean, there's nothing to be gained from it, eh?
I mean, not for us.
Nobody wants nothing, so I said nothing to be gained.
Ah,
No,
I
nobody does
like
want
you.
nothing.
I like you. Isabel, you're so funny. Your jokes are just on a different level. That's so funny. I'm really pleased I know y'all. You see that the night is starting to turn into sort of, it's past midnight. It's starting to get a little bit light on the sky, but it's still quite dark still. So the rest of you might still be able to get in a good long rest before morning,
Oh
if
gosh,
you
yes.
sleep now. So Ash, Ruby, Isabel, are you all going to be going to sleep at this point?
Yes.
I'm already going.
Sure thing.
She's like, I'm going to bed. Leave me alone.
Okay. What are you all focused on as you drift off to sleep then?
Jack.
You're
I'm
focused on Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to, if this ambrosia is a thing, because of mortals playing God, they need it, right? And I've heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to focus on any answers with that one.
Okay. And Ruby?
Ruby will be thinking about having been in prison
Mm-hmm.
for trying to do the right thing. And I guess
Mhm.
the conversation she had with Ox. Reflecting on that bit.
Okay. As you each drift off, Ash, remind me again what it is you're focused on. Jack.
Yes, I'm focused on Jack.
Okay. So as you drift off, Ash, you see that there are still some lights twinkling through this brighter sky. It is essentially twilight, but sort of a morning twilight, if that can even be said to be a thing. But these stars swirl in the sky, and you start to see the shapes form, much like Briar did before. Only yours is more of a depth to it, more sort of in line with the animalistic side of nature, with you being a druid as well. And as you see all of this taking shape, you start to see stories in the sky, that they're sort of playing out these tales of Jack. So many tales of Jack. Just every possible thing that you could think about him are all played out in front of you. Little Jack Horner, you know, so many different things all to do with him. So Jack Be Nimble, Jack Frost, Jack Horner, Jack Sprat, Jack and Jill, Jack of Kent, Jack of Lantern, Jack of all trades, Jack of Fables, Jack Springhill Jack, Stingy Jack, Will o' the Wisp, etc. All of these different fairy tales, all to do with the same guy. And it feels, while you're watching it, overwhelming. How can a person stay in their right mind when they've got that thought process going on, you know? Like, if we live for, 80 years, all those memories compacted into those 80 years is enough to send some people mad. 80 years worth of memories is a lot to take in. That's a long time. Imagine having 200 years. Imagine 500. Imagine never being allowed to die. Imagine having your head cut off and having to use a fucking pumpkin in its place. That's got to really turn a person. You're not going to be the same you at the end of that. You're going to be very different. And for you to be the person that carries people to their deaths, their resting places, which is one of the fairy tales of Jack, it's pretty mad. You've got a crazy spirit that's taking people here and there and everywhere. Only this spirit is still clad in a body and they're still able to do damage if they want to. That's a dangerous person, really, when you think about it.
Mhm.
But add to that the fact that they can't be killed by a mortal. What's that all about? You can't be killed by a mortal? That's a bit of a backhanded live forever, isn't it? That just means that you won't die. That doesn't mean that you're going to stay as healthy and as vital and virile and all of those good things as you are when you're in your 20s. It just means that you'll continue to wither and die for as long as it takes. That's a very different prospect, really, when you think about it. A withering body, never allowed to rest, with the head of a pumpkin, with all these cluttered memories and different cursed stories, all from a chance encounter with someone who gave them a monkey paw. That sounds like a very troubled person to me. And as you see all of these stories play out in the stars, you get a sense of someone stood next to you while you lay on the floor.
Okay. Hello?
Hi! Hi! And you see
Hi.
Jack leaning over you.
I like your head.
You see the corners of the mouth crack ever so slightly further, like new lines are being cut into the pumpkin as it gets sliced open to make an even wider grin, and then like kind of heals back together, but not quite, leaving a scar behind where it was grinning before. I like you. You're colourful, like me.
So, is your name Jack?
Oh, yes.
I'm Ash. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Do you want to go on a walk?
Do we want to what?
Do you want to go on a walk?
Sure.
I'll take you somewhere. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Somebody just died near here. Can you believe it? Oh, I need to go and take them.
That sounds like an important job.
Yeah. He grabs you and throws you up onto his shoulders and walks through the forest with you sitting on his shoulders. You've got a large rotting pumpkin between your thighs, essentially. This is not pleasant for you, but he walks, and as he walks, you can feel that he's like almost all bones beneath you. Like everything that you could see of any substance feels ethereal at best, but rotten at worst. Like it's just bones with a pumpkin balanced on it, refusing to give up. And for what reason you don't really know, but you might have an inclination based on the stories you've heard of him. As you walk through the forest on Jack's shoulders, you get your way to a clearing. You see that there are some thieves. There's thieves around, bandits, and the captain of the bandits is dead with some knives in his back. The other bandits are stood around him, looking through a coin wallet, a purse, like a flip-top leather purse, and they're sort of sharing out this gold between the three of them.
Ooh, is that who you're here to get?
Yes! Oh, you're very quick. Yeah. He just got betrayed by those three. I'm gonna go and collect him.
Can they see you too, or is it just me?
No, just you. You're very good. You're a special one. I don't meet people like you very often.
I will take that as a compliment.
Oh, yes, you should. Yeah. He just got killed by the others. Can you believe it? Oh, it's crazy.
So he got killed by the others. Was it a mutiny?
His name's Vex. Vex Turnpike. That's the name that people gave him anyway. Vex Turnpike is his real name is Frankie. Just Frankie Syrup. He took this name just because he thought it would be cool. Anyway, look, there's some things about him that you should probably know. Yes, he just got absolutely betrayed by his friends.
So why did they betray him?
Money! Just money!
Just money. That seems petty.
Hey, the world turns on money. Everybody wants it. Everybody needs it.
That's true.
But this guy's dead now.
So is he going to a bad place?
He doesn't answer you. He walks forwards with you on his shoulders and leans over. You have to sort of hold on like you're riding one of those bulls at the fair. Or one of those bull rides, you know what I mean? IRL.
Yeah.
And he reaches down and grabs this guy's soul at the spine and throws it up in the air, and you're expected, I guess, to catch this thing.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta roll for that, huh?
You can try. Give me a sleight of hand at disadvantage. You go to try and catch the thing, but it's really hard to catch something that has no physical presence. So it slips straight through your hands and lands back in his, as he's already stood. Only this time, while he stood, he's turned his head around to face you upwards, on his shoulders. I guess turning your head when it's not your head or connected in any way must be a lot easier. You seem perturbed! What's wrong?
I thought you wanted me to catch it. I was trying to help out.
He turns his head back around and continues walking.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interfere.
No! You're my guest! You seem like you have a question in your heart. What's your question?
I don't know if I should ask it. You're such a lovely fellow. I don't want to ruin the mood.
I like that. I like you. You seem like a nice person. I've got to take this guy now. I'm gonna go. Thank you.
Will we meet again? That's my question.
If someone kills you when they betray you, yes. Yes, they will.
Okay, safe travels.
Bye! And he walks off. Just a rotten pumpkin just wobbling on his shoulders. And these skeletal bones of his grinding together as he hobbles down the road. He's very tall. He's like 8 feet tall or something. His legs are so fucking long and skinny. And there's just no smoothness to anything that he does. Like he's just a shambling wreck. And you find yourself back in your little bedroll back at the camp. Isabel,
Right.
you you are focused on the ambrosia. You start to think on your grandfather. You remember images of him, sketches, wood block carvings, things that you would have around that are sort of a simulacra of the wealth, like someone who has an oil painting of them over the fireplace, only not quite that, since it's a sketch or an ink drawing. You know, the closest thing that you could probably afford given the circumstances. And you see him as a young man. You see him at his desk. You see him sort of playing around with this tincture that he's got, going through his glass test tubes and his like steamer and evaporator and all of that. And as he adds a drop, nothing happens, and he makes a note, and he adds another drop, and nothing happens, and he makes another note, and he just sits there for a second, staring off into space, staring at this glass. And then he snaps back awake again, and he puts another drop in, and he makes another note, and he's just sat there in this room ahead of you.
Hello?
Hello? Sorry, what are you doing in here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how I got here, to be honest.
Oh. I don't normally have visitors.
May I ask what you're doing?
No. May I ask what you're doing?
I'm just wandering around.
Well, interesting. Well, I must get back to my work now. And he puts another drop in and makes a note.
Are you perchance trying to make ambrosia?
What? Who's told you?
Nobody's told me.
As he turns towards you, you see that the whole floor is just filled with papers that have been like scrunched up and thrown, and there's there's candles, but the candles are only just barely holding on. They're like way down on the wick, way at the bottom, and it's just like one of those little inventions where how the melting wax drips down and makes a second candle that he can turn over again. It's like very frugal kind of sensibility, but the wax has just gone everywhere from clearly being a clumsy person and knocking it over too much. So there's wax patches all over the floor, and he's not really wearing much in the way of weather protecting clothes. There's no heat in the room. It feels very cold. You can see the chill coming in through the window panes as they're cracked and broken and lie a little bit sort of shattered. There's a rock in the corner that looks like it might have been thrown in by children pranking him, but he was too absorbed in his work to really notice what was going on, and so it's laid there still with fragments of glass embedded in it. And his coat is wrapped around him, and it's covered in stains from all these different chemicals that he has on him. And the papers on his desk are blowing in the wind, and as he turns towards you, his hand catches on one of these glass beakers and knocks it over. And
I tried to catch it.
He sees all of this fluid just pour over your hand as you catch it, and you sort of feel like maybe you've caught a quarter of it, but most of it's gone down your arms and on the floor. Oh, I've got to do that
sorry,
again
I didn't mean
now.
to startle you.
Well, tell me, how do you know?
You won't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
If you're who I think I am, then think you are, sorry. Then I come from the future, and you're technically my grandfather.
Oh, I've not met anyone to marry yet.
I did say technically.
Well, yes. Okay. It's probably about as crazy as everything else that happens around here.
What happens around here?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Again, try me.
Well, I get a lot of visits from figures, and I always think that they might be people, and then it turns out to just be birds. I think I'm imagining things. I think I'm pretty sure that I'm just seeing things. But I do see a lot of, well, ravens around. Never many at once. Just always at the window looking in. It's kind of weird, really, when you think about it. Why a raven would be interested in. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going on. What's your name then? What do we call you? Me and my future betrothed.
My name's Isabel.
Oh, okay. And you're my granddaughter?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, I suppose. And do you know about the Ambrosia How? Am I the laughing stock of our family?
No, you do manage to do it.
I do? With what?
Unfortunately, I don't know the details of it, so me telling you how to do it is pointless. But you do it.
Well, where are my manners? I should offer you a drink. Sit down, sit down. He goes to one of the drawings that he has on the wall. It looks like he's put sort of, you know, that sense that a lot of people have that they need to decorate a space, and then there's other people who prefer to do like just the practicalities of it. He seems like he's a mixture of the two. Like, he decorates but with like blueprints. So he has these things in frames on the wall, frames made up of like, you know, just the best wood that he could find, but it's definitely not made by a professional like framer. But he has this thing up on the wall, and he moves it out away from the wall on a hinge, and behind it you can see his better stuff. You can see that he's got a hidden, it's a tiny little pot of honey, but it's a pot there anyway. And he's got like a little boiling stove made of like pewter. There's just a simple metal, very dull but very shiny where it's been used many times. And he has 2 cups, and one of them is like a little wooden thing, and another one is a little ceramic thing. But you know, it does what it can. And he pulls it out, and he does this little cantrip with his hand, and he just creates a flame, and it starts to heat up this tankard, this pewter pot. And he turns to you and says, "Do you take honey?"
Just a little.
He goes to pour out the cup, takes it in one hand and pours it out into one, and then gets some honey with his other hand and drizzles it. And then, not thinking about this, clearly he's very practiced at doing this with one cup. You don't need a third hand when it comes to this. He goes to reach for the second cup while he's still got this in his hand, and he fumbles it, and it starts to fall in his hands and drops. And as it drops, the little spoon, like, you know, the wooden little honey drizzler things, that flies out of his hand and lands in one of the evaporators and is in his whole like lab setup. And you can see that the whole thing starts to shake and boil and pop and whiz and fizz and whistle and turns gold like that. And he drops the cups and he drops the pewter, and all the hot tea goes all over his foot and distracts him. Oh God! Oh! And he looks up back again. That's Eureka! And he grabs you by both shoulders and kisses you on both cheeks. Granddaughter, if that's who you are, we've done it! We've done it! I need to figure out how I did this. It's honey. Honey is the answer. Oh my God.
Glad I could help.
He gets to writing down these different notes about honey. This frantic person who looked like he was destitute and lacking energy and lacking any joie de vivre, and he gets to the point of writing down all these notes and gets like so excited and adventuring and all of these things, all the beautiful, wonderful things. And you see time spin off in the future, and you see the ravens come and see what he's done and go and fly off. And a day later you see someone knocking at his door and taking this information and making it their own. You see him becoming famous for a short period, but you also see him losing everything and becoming destitute once more as somebody takes his idea and starts doing it themselves. And you see the generations turn as he marries, as he has a kid, as his kid has a kid, and you see baby you there, you don't really see much change in the world. You don't see people starting to buy up ambrosia. You don't really see people starting to drink it. You don't see the effects of this. You don't see what people did with this. If it was a big thing, you could imagine people using it. But then you have this glint in the far frame, if you like, if you see this as an animation, of a portal to another realm of existence. And through that portal, you swear you could see glasses and glasses of ambrosia on the tables in there. And as that moment in your dream happens, you wake up, and we move on to Ruby. Ruby, remind me again what it was that you were focused on.
Reflecting on having been in prison for doing a
Mhm.
good thing, and the conversation with Ox that was, a little bit unusual.
Okay. I think that you see the shack. This wooden shack, this ramshackle shack. Wooden boards falling, broken glass. Not much around, but a frozen pond and some trees. Winter has definitely visited this place, and it is thick with snow. There are guards here, and Ox is sat at a writing desk. You are stood in the corner of the room, in the dark. All that anybody might see if they looked in your direction would be just those two retinas that you can spot on a cat when they're stood in the dark. And you stood there, sneaking. Feel someone stood at your side. Hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
I can offer you something perhaps that you might be interested in.
And what would that be?
Well, the problem with having these kind of interactions is that some people are aware of them and can turn their hand in them. I would imagine that speaking to one of the most powerful gods of the Norse gods might not be the best thing. I could perhaps give you a few minutes with him, though, where I could protect you from that. I am, as you and your friends have perhaps figured at this point, quite adept at slipping into people's thoughts and dreams. Would you care to speak to Ox for a little bit?
I would be curious to find out more about this. This Ox.
Then I will furnish you with this. And they touch you on the shoulder and you feel a warmth spreading into your shoulder. It's a nice warmth, it's a friendly warmth. But you feel it there, and you feel it even as it starts, you feel it start to dissipate and go slowly, slowly cooler. Like you've just been given a timer. And you feel the air turn a little bit more tangible. You can feel the air going into your lungs now, where before it was still just a dream. Now you feel like you might actually be stood in this room. And Ox sort of turns ahead slightly. Hello. I was wondering if I would speak to you again. And he continues with his writing.
Had you wanted to speak to me or my friends, I suppose, again?
I am so tired of pretending to be something I am not. I will tell you. There will be nothing you could do about it. But I will tell you. You will be hunted. We will find you and we will make an example of you, and you will bring about the most glorious of times. It will be an age of order. It will be an age of peace. And it will be with you as the example we will set for the world. He continues writing. He's not even turned towards you at this point.
And this order you want, what does that look like for you?
Peace. Peace at last. There are people in this world who abuse the positions that they have and the freedoms that they are afforded. There would be peace in our time. We would truly have an army worthy of the world we are in. We live on the precipice of war with so many nations, and there are nations who are continually at war with each other. Civil war for centuries. Imagine what we could do with peace. Imagine the progress that we could make. There are other realms that were created at the same time as this, and they have progressed to such just unimaginable wonders. But here, you are stuck in the old ways. You are stuck with the sword and the shield, while they have created technologies you could only imagine.
And that doesn't sound so bad. Peace and,
Exactly.
I guess, prosperity, I feel you're describing.
Exactly. And all it would need is just a small sacrifice by you and your friends.
You say sacrifice as if we have a choice in the matter. You talk about hunting us down. That's not a choice. We are not choosing our sacrifice.
He
You
turns
are...
towards you now. You can see that his eyes are not the eyes that you've seen before. Not the ones when you had the conversation with him. They seem like they are fully white. No pupil, no iris. And he stares at you with these pure white eyes. What choice should you be given? You do not see the world with the breadth that I do. I saw the world thousands and thousands of years ago. I have seen it, and I have much more stock in this world than you or even the rest of my kin. I have a true stake in this. Your time here is short, fleeting. Why should I pay attention to your wants and needs? They are no more than an insect.
And why should I pay attention to the needs of one individual? One individual. Doesn't matter if that individual lives thousands of years or simply 1,000 seconds. They're still an individual making choices for thousands of others and thousands of people yet to come. You think just because you've been around longer than everyone else, you know better?
Do you think that what you see as free will is actual freedom? You feel the shoulder starting to cool off even more. This is not freedom. This is not what you perceive. You think that you are making these choices for yourselves, but these choices have been made for you many centuries ago. The wars that are raging were started by my kin for their own gain. These choices have been made to exploit you and to exploit your friends. I have a better way. I have one, as you have said, of peace and prosperity, one which will benefit all. Are you so narrow-minded that you could not give up your own life for the sake of billions of others? And I assure you there will be billions. We will bring people from all realms to this one. This will be the better of all realms, bringing peace and prosperity and rule of law to this realm will only be the beginning. We will bring prosperity, then we will bring peace, then we will bring the people and their technologies and their magics. You are nothing, and I will be sure that people will remember you, but not for the deeds of your life, but for the purpose of your death.
That may be so. Whatever the legacy it is that I leave behind, I do not seek immortality, Ox, but do not speak to me about freedom. And don't talk to me about my perception of freedom.
I do not think that you have ever truly tasted freedom, and that you have this perfect, imperfect view of what it must be to have, because you have never truly been free, have you, Ruby? I know what freedom is. I am a god. I am the god. I am the one who chooses. Nobody has chosen for me. And if you choose to end my life, I will haunt you to the ends of the earth. Maybe not by myself, but with my followers. They will do it for me.
Then do it.
His shoulder gets even cooler. It's starting to get back to its normal temperature. His eyes are no longer white. They're starting to peek through with some iris and pupil.
Ruby just continues to look at him for a few seconds more. And then, however physically or astral projectually this would be,
Mm-hmm.
she leaves, whether that is, leaving the
That
place
state.
that she is in, the
Yeah.
wooden shack or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just as you go to step out, you see a glint of something gold as he reaches for a drink and takes a sip and puts this drink back on the desk. Well, that seemed about as productive as many of our conversations before now. I hope that you don't hold me in such contempt.
I hope you would recognize the difference in my language and tone, friend.
I am certainly your friend, and I hope that we continue to be. And you feel that warmth now leave. Well, I would think that it seems like you might have a little bit of a problem coming up, a little issue that you might have to deal with. And I've also noticed that some of your friends have been equipped by a certain magic man. And I think that that's a little bit unfair on my friend Ruby. So, I will leave some little tokens at that shack. And should you get your way there in time, I think it would be of your benefit to go in there and find them before any unrest might happen.
Thank you. I will make haste and keep my eyes peeled.
You feel this bond starting to build with the stranger, and as that sort of sense of them genuinely being a friend builds, for the first time, you start to see some level of physical form. Before now, it's only ever been a dark shadow in the peripheral vision. Now, in the peripheral vision, you're starting to see a shape of something form. And as you start to notice that, you feel them touch you on the shoulder again as a reminder. Oh, no, no, no. And they snap you back into your daytime body. And speaking of daytime, it is now daytime for all of you. You wake up together in the forest. The fires are dwindling. The watchmen are keeping their watch. and you are all now 3, 2, 1 back in the room.
Morning, everyone.
Morning. So,
Hi.
What did everybody
No.
dream about?
Wow.
Seems to be a thing.
Yes.
I mean, I
Yep.
think
Insanity?
Yeah,
Hmm?
if you wish, we're ready.
I think I echo what you guys had said, and we need to get to that shack, and we need to get there now.
We know where it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we?
nobody.
Oh, I
Nobody
know.
knows.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
was there. Remember?
Yeah,
I
nobody's
walked
going
through
to
it.
us.
Of course.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Perfect.
You're saying nobody because I'm not. I've been so used to y'all not knowing how to say my name, and now you're saying it, and I'm getting so confused. Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah. We should go, though.
Lovely.
Do
Let's
y'all
gather
have
our
anything you
coffees.
need to talk about between yourselves? It seemed like y'all three were tossing and turning, and I don't imagine that Ruby came to this conclusion on her own.
My guess is maybe we could walk and talk. You know,
That's about it.
Let's
we
do
get moving
that.
to our
Yeah.
investigation, talk at the same time.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that idea.
I think getting moving during Fimble winter is wise.
Mm-hmm.
As you talk, we will switch over the map to the snowy cabin.
Hey DM, can we talk now?
Yeah.
We were waiting. We were being polite.
So Ruby is chuntering. No, Ruby shares that. So I managed to speak to Ox, for better or for worse, but I found out why they want to bring upon Ragnarok. They want to bring other realms into our realm. They have awareness of the progression, the development, the prosperity of other places, and they want to try and bring peace and prosperity to here by bringing in billions. I think it's crashing the realms together into this one somehow.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
That sounds terrible.
No. While the idea of peace and development sounds great, it's at the cost of, well, at least our lives. I think he plans to kill us to trigger it.
What makes us so special about that, though?
Seems more like him being in control than him doing anything for anyone's benefit.
I wonder how Jack plays into that then.
Jack?
Yeah, he's very tall and skeletal and has a pumpkin for a head. And we went to go pick up somebody who was betrayed by their friends, and he took them somewhere.
Well, there's
And he
many
said
people
that-
that collect souls.
Well, he said that I would meet him again if I were betrayed by my friends.
Well, I'm not blind to
You
that.
don't
Anything
think.
else?
No, but you don't think. You don't think that some way in Ox is going to try and make us betray each other somehow?
I don't. Sorry for background noise, but no, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure.
I think he should trade places with Loki.
That's a fun idea. I think the problem is if we get Loki free, that is Ragnarok.
Or is it?
Ruby, did you
Well,
say
Is that a lie too?
maybe. I don't want to be the one who ends it for everyone, but I would still find it sick as fuck.
Would be entertaining.
The apocalypse? Of course it would. Who wouldn't be entertained by bringing on the apocalypse?
But we can't make the choices for that choice for everybody. Just as much as Ox can't.
Ruby
But
laughs
it
at you
could
saying
just
that.
be a lie.
Huh?
He's been lying about everything else. Why would he not lie about this too?
I think it's a power grab, perhaps.
I mean, it sounds like he's trying to rule by fear. And the best way of doing that is to find a scapegoat and use them as an example. It sounds like that's what he might be trying to do. But maybe that's how he's going to use us. I don't know if I'm
Where's the
included in
goat?
this. I think maybe he's going to control the population by fear. By saying that y'all are bad and that he has to kill you and that more people like you might be showing up soon.
Well, he's already working on that.
Yes, and then he's just going to destroy everybody anyway. So I think we should
I think
stop him.
That's an idea. How do we plan on doing that?
Question's how.
Well, I
don't
think
know.
Ruby, was there anything else in your conversation with Ox?
other than he wants to bring upon the realms, he wants to hunt us down, and if we kill him, he'll make sure his followers hunt us down.
So we turn his followers against him.
He could die by betrayal.
He could.
you think
Who says it? Who means us? I mean, we might see Jack collecting somebody else's death by betrayal.
perhaps we need Jack. In my dreams, it said to follow the signs, and the signs spelt out Jack. So I think
Mhm.
maybe he's important to us stopping this.
Well, it seems like he's immortal. How do you get to be immortal? Because that's what's keeping Buri going, right? So is it the same thing, or does he have something else? And then what makes him mortal? And how can you kill him? Because he's a god, but he's immortal, so you can kill him. So if you kill him, you stop him.
I mean, how do they?
Sounds like he'll be a grumpy ghost, but there's plenty of people that we know that can handle that.
We can handle a
Uh,
grumpy ghost.
I mean, in terms of killing a god, I mean, what keeps them alive?
Did he not do?
Fight?
Do they have juice?
Did he do anything? Why not just what did he say? It's what did he do while you were with him, Ruby?
He was writing down, just writing.
If we
And
need
then when
to,
he looked at me, it just had different eyes to normal. It was creepy. Yeah.
I don't know if we necessarily need to kill him, but expose his lies. Maybe that would be worse for him.
How are we gonna do that when we're on our way to an abandoned shack?
Well, somebody told us that gods
Open
are
to ideas.
gods are mortal. So if we
That's
expose,
true, they are.
but is it a common fact, or is it just like us select few now?
Oh no, lots of people know that they're mortal. They just
Oh.
know that they drink ambrosia to keep them alive.
And
Oh,
That definitely rings a bell. That was what my dream was about.
Well, in my dream, I saw them murder Julius, so maybe protecting him is important as well.
Who killed Julius?
The guards.
He was betrayed?
wait, Jack will get him.
In my dream, yes. I don't know
Jack
if
will
it.
get him. Jack
Yes.
will collect him. Is anybody else gonna be mad that Jack's gonna get him?
I mean,
Wait. Remember I told you that people close to death would see beings like this?
Like us. We're close to death
Yeah.
because we killed that guy.
Do y'all remember who else I said would see beings like that?
You've said a lot of things, friend.
Gods.
God.
When Julius gets betrayed by the guards and Jack comes to collect him, Ox will see Jack.
I'm wondering if that's the case. He wants Jack.
Why?
Weren't
We
they
need to
talking
protect
about that
Jack.
with your sign language?
So we need to protect Jack. So we need to.
We need to protect Julius and Jack.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Jack
If we keep
can't
Julius
die.
alive.
I
But
say
Jack
we
can't
protect
die by
everybody.
mortal hands. So what mortal hands are there? They're all mortal. The god there is mortal. Ox is mortal. He can't
Maybe
kill
Unless he's
Jack.
eating ambrosia.
He can't kill Jack. Even with ambrosia, he's still mortal. Ambrosia's just an energy drink.
That's made of honey, apparently.
The
Yeah.
holy man.
Perhaps they don't mean to
Holy
kill
man's
him.
The holy
immortal.
man.
The holy man's immortal.
Oh, fuck.
And he's after us. We need to stay far away from Jack.
Well, we're
Because
only
he's been
about.
following us all around the world.
We might need to keep our voices down because we're only about 5 minutes out now.
We need to protect Julius. So Jack cannot come. So the Holy Man cannot kill him. And this cycle stop.
Or we killed Julius because we're not his friends, so that's not betraying him.
Ooh.
The moments pass by in an instant, as if 5 minutes became seconds, as your anticipation of this moment raises. And you all find your way to this shack. You can see it. It's a single story. It's got a little penned off area to the right. It's surrounded by trees. There's an open clearing with, like, dusted tracks on the ground where they've sprinkled, like, mud and stuff like that to try and keep the area decent traction to walk on. And you see 7 guards around the frozen pond. And on the pond, you see Ox, Orana, and Julius making their sign language. You each get the actions of 1 turn now to be able to do something. What would you do? What's the plan here? Remember, and I say this as a friend, not as a DM, remember the times that you have acted in haste and it's all gone to shit with no plan. So think now, between yourselves, what the plan would be. You would have been able to talk about this before you got here. And remembering, Ruby, that there will be bonuses, little boons for those of you who were in the jail in that shack.
I can try and distract them with nefarious mischief. Or try and put them to sleep.
That didn't work last time. Well,
Well,
but
it worked to kill somebody last time and didn't mean to, but
We need to get
I also
inside
have
the
a
shack.
poison ball.
I mean, I think I have a vested interest in getting in the shack. and I think Briar and Ash should come with me.
Mm-hmm.
My friend has left us some useful things in there that may be critical for these next moments.
Okay. So you each get your single actions movement, and that means no bonus actions, no movement, just action. So you can use the action to dash if you want to find yourself into a different position, but that will be all that you do with that action. Or you can use your action to hide somewhere, or do an attack, or cast a spell. Like, I don't know, if you want to stealth somewhere, or if you want to fly somewhere, then this is your opportunity to do that. But you will get a single action each, and no more. No bonus actions, no movement. What do you do in this moment?
Are we trying to hide? Like, I don't know what everybody else wants to do.
Half the
If
party
you and
definitely
Briar,
needs to get into the shack, and then what are we
yeah,
trying to do here? What is the actual aim? We're trying to save Julius from the others, but how are we going to do that? Should I try to distract them? Should I try to put them to sleep?
I can only offer once I've got to the shack. I've spoken to Julius in his mind before. I can try again.
On him.
I can warn him in my best weird voice.
You
I'll
weren't betrayals of it.
going to try and stealthily levitate and move closer behind trees. For their action right now.
So I think I'm going to try and get into position.
If we were trying to get into the shack, I was debating doing pass without trace so we could try to go through sneakily. But then I can't. I don't know.
Maybe we all go to the shack together, and if the guards
To the
start to
shack.
move in, we'll intervene.
Okay. Are we going for movement then? Is it going to be a dash action with a pass without trace?
I think so.
Yes.
All right. Let's do it to it. So everybody gets this pass without trace. Every creature within 30 feet of you that you choose. So that's everybody. Everyone will get stealth checks with a +10. So remember when you roll your stealth to add a +10. I'll ask everyone to roll their stealth now so that we can deal with it before we start the next session. And we are going to start the next session in what do you call it? Initiative order. Wow, God, those are some good rolls. So we've got 27, 18, 31, 36, 23, and 16. So the two lowest are 18 and 16.
I think Briar had a nat
Where's the
20 actually.
36 and 31. Right,
Yeah,
did have
I
a nat
did.
20.
Yeah.
Right, I did have a nat
did,
20.
yeah.
Yeah, Briar had nat 20.
On a stealth.
Yeah. And
Wearing mail.
Where's
Victor.
Fire gone?
Well, yeah. So wearing mail, that would mean that you get disadvantage on your stealth check. Did you
Right,
roll
but I
that?
have the.
Or have you got
I have
the things that give you
boots
the
of
advantage to
Elven
cancel
kind.
it out? Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the average roll, I think, is 23. I think that's right. 36, 31, 27, 16, 18, 23. Yeah, it's 23. So the average roll,
look, I'm
the group
average.
check is 23.
It's average.
So these guys are not particularly looking around. They're not actively searching the area. So we're just going to go off their passive perception. So I'm going to check through them now. I'm not going to tell you whether you succeed or not. But I'm just checking to make sure. Oh, That's a very high passive perception.
I don't like hearing
Okay.
that.
All right. So that's one person has cast a spell. Briar, what's your action?
I was waiting to see if Ruby was going to try to talk to them. I don't know how, if I could I use thaumaturgy to make Ruby's voice in their head like more booming?
You could, yeah. I would allow that. I don't think that's how it normally works, but I think that that would be cool. So why not?
I don't know if
The
that
mind's
was
voice is
what...
fucking metal.
I don't know if that was something Ruby wanted to do, or was gonna go with something else.
Yeah.
Big or go home.
I'm chill with it. Yeah.
Well, they
go
have
for
to
it.
be within 30 feet of you.
Yeah, so like this is the thing because obviously we've got to do the movement, and
And that
I
would
think
mean
it
that
basically
you
means
don't get to do the
Okay.
Ruby has to be outside and can't quite be. Well, I could ish be inside the shack, but I'd need line of vision, so I'd need to be by a window.
Yeah. So someone would have to use their action to get Ruby into the shack without Ruby having to move to do that.
Gotcha. My other thought was to help Aldrin with sleep, because I also have the sleep spell. So if they were gonna use sleep, I could partner with them to also use mine.
The hiccup there is range.
Is it?
I think I'm too far. I'm not sure. I was trying to count, and then I clicked, and then my mouse went weird.
Okay.
I don't see a range on it when I hover over the spell.
It's 90 feet away.
Okay.
And then it creates a 20-foot sphere.
Okay.
So this is 95, so 90 would be here.
Alright, so we're a little bit far for that. What else could I do? Channel Divinity, Twilight Sanctuary wouldn't really do much for us. It would just give us temporary hit points. Could I hold an action for right now to just see what everybody else kind of does to...
Well, we could just do it in whatever order people want to do it in. So, Victor, what would you do? We'll just go through everybody else's choices first, and then you can hold yours till last. So, what would you do now then, Victor?
Would that sleep reach? Because it creates a 20-foot sphere.
Well, the center of the sphere would have to be at the range. So, what range is it you've got?
So the range would be here, 90.
And it's a 20-foot sphere?
Yeah.
Mine would reach.
You would just about manage. So you would get
I can reach to here.
You'd get
90
there.
for me is between Julian and Ox.
Oh wait, is that?
I am on roll. Yeah, here.
Yeah. And if you did it, then it would be there. Yeah. I am hoping that we can get these decisions made quickly because we're taking a lifetime over this. I wanted it to be a single action so that we could be quick, but people are taking a while, so let me just go to the other people. Briar and Aldrin, hold your ideas until last. Keep thinking about it.
My
but I'm
question
go
is
through
just
everybody
yes
else.
or no to the group. Should we do it?
Well, yes, it's possible, but I'm still asking everybody else. So, Victor, are you taking a dash action then? Is that your action?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
Okay. I think that nobody would want to use Death Ward on somebody. Who would want Death Ward on them?
Go for someone with lower HP, I would.
Actually, I might. So it'd be a full turn of like a full round of actions, essentially.
Just
Sorry,
a single
just
action. So you get an action. You don't get movement. So your action is to dash. That's your action done.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then.
But what's the name? Nobody is willing to give anybody Death Ward. So who would want Death Ward? In case
What
you're
is Death
unaware of
Ward?
what Death Ward is, yeah. So you touch a creature and grant it a measure of protection from death. The first time the target would drop to 0 hit points before the spell ends. The target instead drops to 1 hit point, and the spell ends then.
I feel like
If the
Ruby
spell
needs
is still
that.
in effect when the target is subjected to an effect that would kill it instantly without dealing damage, that effect is negated against the target and the spell ends. So spells like Disintegrate, or Finger of Death, or Power Word Kill, they would kill you immediately. Death Ward would stop that and would drop you to 1 instead.
Sure, Ruby will take that.
Yeah, Ruby.
Yeah, I
Okie
feel like
dokie.
Ruby
I am
is
the
just-
squishiest,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So they're going to use Death Ward on you. It is touch distance, but we can just say that they did it as they were walking up. So you've got Death Ward. Let me just pop that into the chat there. Okay. Isabel, what's your choice? What are you doing?
I'm gonna dash a bit closer, but staying in the tree lines.
Cool beans. Give me your movement then. Just move to where you want to go. Up to your regular movement. And then Briar and Aldrin, you are both using your sleep together, are you? You're aiming to do it like combined on top of each other, or are you doing it singularly? One of you would be there, and the other one of you would be there. So if it's a Venn diagram, then you're hitting Ox and Julius, mostly. One of you is only going to get Arana. Arana isn't getting hit. Also, Aldrin will get this guard as well. And with sleep, it hits the person with the lowest HP first.
So can Briar cast it and Aldrin be support to it?
How would that be? If you're asking, can you do the equivalent of 2 spells in the same location? That's... no, not really.
No, just can Aldrin be backup, like give advantage, helping out somehow?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
We could cast them both. What's the group think? Yes or no?
I mean, it's a better chance, right?
Just
Yeah.
yeah, just go for it.
Let's do it
Yeah,
then.
do it.
Let's
Okay.
go for it. All right.
So we've got 2 sleeps. So give me those sleeps.
Alrighty.
Oh,
Give me
it's
the
asking
HP. Yeah, both of you need to roll for the HP. Aldrin does a 22. The guard falls
Oh.
asleep.
I do it as well.
And Katie also does a 22. You don't have any of the guards in your circle, Katie, and it's not enough to
No.
send the others to sleep either. So this guard goes to sleep. Hang on. Let me just find this. Where is it? Where are the Zeds? There we go. Okay, so this guard falls asleep because it gets his HP first, but it's not enough to overflow onto the others, so they will not go to sleep. But now that you have done this with stealth, I'm going to say that they don't immediately notice that this guard falls asleep, since you had a successful group stealth check. And that's going to be it for our session. I think everybody's done their actions, right? Aldrin and Briar both cast sleep. Ruby, what was it you were doing, Ruby? I didn't really get that bit.
Yeah, Ruby just wanted to move towards the shack. That was
Okay,
all.
give me a dash.
Yeah,
Just give you your movement towards the shack then.
Yeah, so it's just 40 feet towards the shack. That's all I was gonna do. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm stuck
give
on
me
ruler.
your
Bear with me.
movement.
I just didn't want to get caught.
Lovely. All right, then this is how we're going to start next time. The initiative orders are already set. I have pre-rolled them before our session today. I've got it all there planned and prepped. And next time when we start in this, we are going to be in initiative order immediately. It's going to be battle time, folks. So, get yourselves prepared, get your butts puckered, and we will be ready to go when it all falls apart. Is it going to be the end of the world? Is it not? Who knows? But this is going to be one hell of a BBEG fight just before Christmas time. I hope to send you off to Christmas having a lovely, lovely, lovely ending with a lovely, lovely break. I have tried not to make it completely mind-blowingly difficult, but there's definitely going to be some curveballs in there. So look out for those and think on your feet. Apart from that, thank you everybody for being here. It's been a fucking great session back.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Did you all enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
no.
yes.
Been a real chunky one, I think, today. You've got some more answers. You've like figured out a lot more than what I kind of expected you to figure out, to be honest. I gave you a lot of the like main hints, but then you really started to put it together at the end there, especially you, Mars. You really started to like, wait, but this and this and this, and I'm like, oh
I've been
yes,
putting it together.
finally
and
get
I've
it.
noticed other
Yeah.
things like dude drinking a golden liquid. Hello, ambrosia. Like, oh, I'm trying not to break the walls of what I hear
Yeah.
versus what my
Yeah.
character knows. And
Yeah,
I'm
Ruby was also like, I had to do the same. I'm like, yeah, Ruby's clocked was drinking a golden
Yeah, but
liquid, but
juice.
Story's just having a drink. I don't know what that drink is. No, and I'm like, Isabel, is it? How I was like,
I couldn't.
how do gods keep themselves alive? And then no one said ambrosia. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it,
Thing.
I'm stuck now.
Isabel was specifically
trying
saying,
to-
"Did you see them do
Do
anything?
anything.
Like, what
I
were
was
they
gonna
doing?"
Drink a juice.
Yeah.
How did I say
And you're like, "Well, they were talking."
Yeah, no. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that because why on earth would I see someone have a drink and report that? Oh yes, he had a drink. No, fuck off. I would say he's writing in a book. Not that he took a sip. No.
Well, if it
No,
was
I'm
gold
standing
and
my ground
shiny,
here.
it might draw some attention to the fact that he's drinking something that's gold.
Yes.
I
He's
have
drinking
grown up
piss.
poor as
Lucasade.
shit.
It's
I have
Lucasade.
grown up
He's drinking
poor
piss.
as shit.
It's piss. It's
Ruby
piss.
doesn't know what rich people drink.
Lucasade.
Ruby's grown up in a fucking dairy, so it probably was luminous colours now and again.
Steve
You
is
don't
desperate
know,
for this to be
but
Lucasade.
fuck it, I don't know what rich people
Steve's
do.
desperate for this to be Lucasade.
Luminosity.
It's piss. It's piss. He's into scat play.
Because there was no realistic way that Isabel knew that Ruby saw him drinking the gold, but there's no way that Ruby would know that we would need to know that.
No.
So we
Yeah,
were
exactly.
stuck.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell anyone about the
Yeah.
drink unless it was like, oh yes, ambrosia is specifically this colour and is a
Yeah.
drink. Ruby doesn't know.
As a
Well-
player, I was like, I was ambrosia.
This has certainly been a passion-filled session. I am glad to leave it on this note. We'll be back at the same time and place next week. We'll
Good
discuss away from the table, away from stream. We'll discuss between ourselves what length of Christmas break you guys want. Last year, when I ended the last campaign, we had quite a long one because there were people who had different commitments in different places. So we had a few weeks. We had like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember what between
with no break.
sessions. But
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
here.
but yeah, it's really up to you
Yeah,
guys.
I'll be here.
I
mean, we just had
might
a break, so
yeah, I will be probably visiting my sister. Yeah, I'll be at my sister's over Christmas week because that'll be Boxing Day. Will be when we do it again on the 26th. That's a Thursday, so I will not be here for that. But yeah, I mean,
Oh wait, that's a Thursday?
Yes, it's Thursday.
yeah, it's Thursday
Oh.
today. We do Thursday sessions.
Where's
Yeah.
the calendar?
And Boxing Day is Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, 26th of December is a Thursday.
Oh.
So, yeah, that would be one that I'm not here for. But apart from that, I don't think... Hang
Okie
on.
dokie.
Wait. 19th.
No,
Oh, wait, no, I do...
Stupid of
I
me, but
do
do you
actually-
have Boxing Day in America?
I don't think so.
It's a
Okay.
bank
No, I
holiday.
don't think they do, no.
I was like, I don't think I've ever heard American people
Christmas
celebrating
is
Boxing Day, like, or
25th,
having Boxing
and
Day.
you open stuff on
I-
Christmas. Some folks open
Yeah.
stuff on Christmas Eve. That's the 24th.
I do
You know.
also have to be the bearer of bad news. I might not even be able to make the 19th either because I've got training that I have to go to that's practical and it's in Manchester. So
Bless
I'm
them.
going to be driving many hours
Practically in
away
Manchester.
and being there for many
Oh.
hours. I'm not going to have many spoons at the end of that, and that's the Thursday before Boxing Day. So I'm suggesting that I'll probably not be here. I will be here next week. I will probably not be here
Right.
the next 2 weeks after that.
That's cool. Whatever you need, man. We'll be
Okay.
here when you're ready.
Um,
yeah, whenever
yeah.
I'm
Because
ready.
one of
we'll
them
be
I'll
here.
be at my sister's in Kent,
Yeah.
and I won't be
I'm
able to take my
putting it
desktop
in the
computer there for all of
calendar.
this. So we won't have
That's
Foundry
fine.
or anything like that. And the other thing is, the 19th, I just won't have the spoons because I will have been doing nursing practical training for hours in Manchester that day. And I'll
Fair
only
dues.
just cut it fine getting it back because I'm like 2 hours away from there driving, and it'll be during rush hour. So Yeah.
That's calm. Whatever
not
you
a
need, man.
fun day of driving.
yeah,
Just a quick
but
question.
yeah, go on.
Get some
Yeah.
good
I'll
music and a
be-
good coffee for the car, so you
What,
can
to
rock
put me
out
to
to the
sleep?
music on the way.
Coffee makes me go to sleep. That would be a
Is
bad
them-
idea.
Okay, then not a coffee, but you're kind
Hot
of
chocolate.
drink
on.
to go.
Go on, Isabel.
Is this the last is this the end of the campaign final boss?
No, end of campaign, no. This is
Oh, okay.
so the way that I've structured it is that we've got multiple different things happening in multiple different parts of the world, and it's just whichever one of them you want to deal with first is the one that's going to be your first BBEG to get to. So this is going to be the first BBEG fight that you have, but there are other problems that are still evolving that you're not dealing with while this is occurring.
I mean,
And
guys,
I've-
I'm pretty
Rumpelstiltskin.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we each in our backstories have a BBEG. I've just befriended mine. You
Yeah.
guys are welcome to discover yours at any point during the
Yeah.
campaign.
I have
just don't know
I
who
have
mine is.
explicitly told you that each of you have got different beings in your backstory that have real storyline and real impact on your lives, and the longer you leave them without dealing with them, the worse they're going to be. And yeah,
Captain
Ruby
Oblivious
did
at your
on
service.
session 1. Ruby had some qualms about the stranger, but then rapidly just befriended them and made them an ally. And yes, that's a valid way of dealing with it. I am
Passive
100% for. So this is one thing, right? If I have planned it to be a fight, it doesn't always have to be a fight. You can find a peaceful way out of it. I always have a peaceful way built into every fight. And if you choose to go for the fight, you'll get the equivalent of experience. You know, you'll get to your next milestone sooner and all that for your next level. But if you don't and you go for the peaceful way, you'll still get to the next milestone just the same speed, because it's just as hard, if not harder, to get the peaceful way out of a big fight than to just fight it. Anyone can roll a dice and stab, but it takes a real, creative mind to really think out how to be peaceful about a thing. So
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a
Yeah.
massive compliment for turning my BBEG into a patron. It was a great plan, clearly.
Well, I'm not against the idea. They became your patron. You are a warlock. You've added flavour to your character. You've dealt with your backstory in some big broad strokes. You've done more to your backstory than the others have, but the others are still figuring theirs out, slowly but surely. So, Isabel
Everyone become warlocks.
Isabel's sort of finding out more and more about Isabel's granddad, who was a big part of their backstory. That's a big part of that. And Victor is finding out about the orphans at the orphanage and Arelli, and that's a big part of that backstory.
I don't know shit about mine.
You don't know shit about yours because I've hinted at yours and you've chosen not to go in that direction. And the rest of
I'm
you
not
just
good
don't
at
really
hints.
ask.
Captain Oblivious at your service.
So it's there when you want to go for it, but the longer you leave it, the harder it will be. So, it's really your call.
So whoever's
And
back
remember,
to
we
to
do
be-
also
to be
have.
fair.
Hey, I am autistic too. I get it, but you've got to at some point realize that when I'm saying you know, XYZ about your parentage and that they might have gone in this direction and maybe you might want to go in that direction, there's going to be a
well,
point
next
when you
time-
got to go there.
Next time I'll try to pick up on that.
But I've
Yeah.
laid
May-
hints at what the biggest developing problem is. I've laid hints for that as well. So
You're not alone in that, Ash. Don't
there's
worry.
a lot of
Okay, good, I'm
there's a
glad.
lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot
You'd
of
have
like
to beat me over the head with it.
there's a lot of
I was
like
gonna say,
stuff-
I think everyone needs a spider flung in their face, and then it's
Basically.
very difficult to avoid your backstory. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like, everyone's seeing the
I mean-
spider. What's
my
this?
God.
It's Ruby's
Oh
core.
my god, yeah, oh my god.
If there's a giant spider just smacked in your face, you can't really ignore it.
Hey, it was just a hint
Exactly,
at the start. I gave
right?
all of you a hint at the start, and none of you chose to go with it. Everybody got the same level of hint. It's just that Ruby went with hers. Don't.
Well, I don't even know what mine was.
Yeah.
It
No,
might have
neither.
to do with frogs.
I
Remember,
love
Mars. Remember, Mars. On the first session, you were going to a self-help class about having a draconic bloodline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lizard lady.
Yeah.
Look,
So-
I just know that.
So
my
there's a big
forest
hint.
Was, my
What?
forest was getting
Point me in the
destroyed.
direction of a dragon. Haven't seen one yet.
I don't remember anything.
Well,
about...
no, there was one on the pathway,
Are
but
you-
then
are
I
you
talked
talking
to
about-
them, but then they walked away.
Are you talking about Jesus the dragon?
Jesus the
No,
dragon.
not
yeah.
that one.
Jesus the dragon.
Are you sure?
Jesus
In
Christ!
case of
yeah.
emergency, I pray to
Ancient
Jesus.
dragon, Jesus Christ. Because that's the only
I
way
think
that someone,
mine-
the only way that an NPC can get away with saying Jesus Christ is for it to actually be a dragon that's like an ancient dragon known as Jesus Christ. Because otherwise, we have to acknowledge that the Judeo-Christian gods are real in this world, and I don't want to do that. So no, fuck off. Yeah. But there were hints for everybody. Briar had the guy dying in the gutter, and
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
note.
say. I think
Ash,
it has to do with the
yeah.
Holy Man.
Ash, you found out about your parentage and where they went, and that not necessarily they're dead. They might still be around, but you've not gone and searched into that. Isabel has been
Because I
looking
don't-
into Grandpa. Victor has been looking into Aurelie and the orphanage. Ruby has definitely dealt with a lot of theirs, but obviously you found one slaver ship and dealt with the one slaver ship, but that doesn't mean that you've dealt with the whole slave trade, so it's really up to you how far you go with it. And there's other
We get to
realms.
blow more things. We get to blow more things up.
I've hinted at. Yeah, of course you get to blow more things up. You think I'm gonna deny my players
ready?
that? You can,
know
you
how
can
to make
blow
bombs
shit up
now.
as
Be
much
ready,
as you like.
Steve.
I
Yeah, I'm
think
so ready. I'm
artificers
so ready
people-
for more bomb making.
Yeah,
Leave
man.
go artificer out.
And I've hinted
But my
at
only-
other realms, and no one's gone to the other realms. You've seen
My
how
only
to go
thought-
to other realms. You have been to another realm. You just didn't recognize it when you did.
Oh, the
Yeah.
The fucking
one with the
4
chest
Points
and the
Islands.
trumpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
The secret
something
treasure
different
chest
about the
hidden
sky here.
room
Oh, it
when
feels
we
weird.
jumped-
I'm dense
When we
as
climbed down the
fuck,
green
man.
pipe or something.
We're all
My
dead.
Yeah, we
partner
nearly-
had
we-
to ask me to marry him in order
Yeah.
for us to start dating. I am dense as fuck.
These are all here, and you are all players together. You are the Gouda guys. If any of you notice a hint that one of the others it pertains to, and they haven't noticed it, maybe just give them a nudge in the, give them a swift elbow in the ribs. Hey, by the way, I think that hint might have been about you. But in the meantime, let's move on and have fun tonight. Have a lovely time, whatever you're doing. Happy time zone, everybody. Please eat, drink, be merry, do whatever it is you've got to do to be relaxed and chilled and have a lovely time, whatever it
Drink
is.
water and take your meds.
Remember, if you can't be good to yourself, then at least have fun. Good night.
You have a raid target.
Thank
Cool
you,
one.
everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.